Way. This morning, major news. After years of serving as a Democrat in public office, the mayor of Dallas, Texas, one of the biggest cities in our nation, Eric Johnson, announcing he's switching parties to become a Republican. Yes, he wrote an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, writing American cities need Republicans, citing the need for law and order and fiscal conservatism. But Democrats are accusing the mayor of turning his back on the voters who elected him. Stephanie Haynes, live this morning in Dallas outside of City Hall. Stephanie, I know some people are calling him out. Some people in the Democratic Party are saying, oh, this was like the most unkept secret, that he, for a while, has been much more conservative than maybe his party affiliation led on.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, some people are saying they're not surprised by this. Obviously, Republicans in Texas are thrilled. Democrats, as you said, are calling him out for turning his back on the voters who elected him to this very office. But look, Mayor Johnson says this is hardly a red wave, but he does believe that the principles that we associate with the GOP are what are going to make America's big cities safer. A political shakeup is underway in the Lone Star State. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson announcing over the weekend he is switching parties from Democrat to Republican, writing in an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal, quote, "The future of America's great urban centers depends on the willingness of the nation's mayors to champion law and order and practice fiscal conservatism. In other words, American cities need Republicans." Democrats are lashing out. The Dallas County Democratic Party chair responding in part, quote, "Mayor Johnson has turned his back on the very voters who trusted that he would uphold our hard-fought democratic values."
He might be attributing this to supposed greater commitment to law and order on the Republican side, but I think it's actually a political calculation, and that's fairly clear.
Johnson cites a recent Gallup poll which lists Dallas as the safest of 16 large American cities, putting New York, LA, and Chicago among the bottom few. Meanwhile, Republicans welcome the move. Texas Governor Greg Abbott tweeting, quote, "Texas is getting more red every day."
Cities like New York, cities like Chicago, there's rampant crime in each of these cities that we see increasing year over year. And right now, Republicans and everyday voters just want to feel safe on the streets. So until Democrats address the rising crime in each of their cities, I think it's a seat for Republicans to take.
And this is Mayor Johnson's second and final term. He was just reelected in May, so he's still got 3 more years. And he tells people that just because he's switching up his party doesn't mean it's going to change how he runs the office of mayor here in Dallas. Marky.
Yeah, and he said that, you know, this is far from a red wave when it comes to the number of mayors leading the top 10 largest cities in the country. It went from 0 to 1 now, but he said it's clear that cities have reached a time for choosing. Stephanie Haynes, thanks so much. Fascinating.
Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson says he is switching parties, making the city of Dallas the largest in the country run by a Republican. Fox 4's Blake Hansen live tonight with more on what the changes will mean and some reaction too. Blake.
Yes, Stephen, making the switch, Mayor Johnson said he understands the decision will surprise many, but it is not a shock to many who closely follow politics and yet could still have some big implications for the future.
The 60th mayor of the great city of Dallas, my friend, Mayor Johnson.
When Eric Johnson was sworn in for his second term as Dallas mayor in June, the then Democrat had Texas's 2 Republican senators there supporting him. He's now joined the 2. Johnson announcing in a Wall Street Journal op-ed Friday, "I have no intention of changing my approach to my job, but today I am changing my party affiliation." Going on to write, "The future of America's great urban centers depends on the willingness of the nation's mayors to champion law and order and practice fiscal conservatism." Johnson has long made cracking down on violent crime, lowering property rates, and attracting business central tenets to his mayorship. He discussed those efforts in an appearance on Fox News Channel late last month.
We've worked really closely with the community here in Dallas to make sure that our police feel supported throughout this time when a lot of people have talked about defunding the police and questioning the role that law enforcement plays.
Although mayoral positions are technically nonpartisan, Johnson's move sparked backlash for going Republican in solidly Democrat Dallas County. Dallas County Democratic Chair Cardinal Coleman writing that Johnson has the gall to join a party so blatantly opposed to the values of Dallas is an embarrassment, not only to him, but to our community.
Well, Johnson was never a particularly partisan Democrat.
SMU political science professor Matthew Wilson says the move could be advantageous if Johnson seeks higher office.
Texas is becoming more two-party competitive, but clearly it's still a state where Republicans have an advantage. And moreover, by becoming pretty much the only African-American Republican leader of a major city, he puts himself in a much more kind of unique political position than he is within the Democratic Party.
Johnson's staff told me that he was not available for an interview today. His op-ed really did not go into detail as to what his future political plans might be.